welcome back. I'm Yvonne with the Hot Air Affair. One of our new activities this year is geocaching. It's a new sport that's been around for about the last 6 or 7 years. And with me today, I have two local geocachers that are going to be explaining about the sport, what it is, the equipment that you need, how to do it, and some of the things that you'd be able to find in the field. As someone said recently, it is basically electronic treasure hunting. And this is Gary. And this is Mike. And Gary's going to start telling you a little bit about how to get started.
Well, thank you very much. Geocaching is a sport that quite a few people have gotten involved in lately. What you basically need to get involved in the sport is computer access to a website called geocaching.com, and you need a handheld GPS unit. We've got several different models here. Everything from about $100 on up to about $500. Once you have your GPS in hand and you're ready to go start looking for your caches, what you need to do is you need to go to the website on the computer, geocaching.com. What you'll do is you'll find a page very similar to this one, and once you find this page, you will establish an account, which is free. Once you have that account, you basically have account name. That is the name that we're known by. My geocaching name is the Bloodhound. Mike's geocaching name is Candy Apple Green. And once we get that, you basically can find any geocache which is in your area. If you go to another page on their site, you have an opportunity to use a zip code by state, by county, or if you happen to know somebody that is a geocacher, you can put his name in and find out any caches that they have hidden. That will give you the latitude and the longitude. That latitude and longitude you put into your geocaching unit here for your GPS, and then you're ready to head out into the field and go looking for a cache.
Now, worldwide, you had indicated earlier to me that there were many caches hidden and many people involved. Can you give me some information on that?
What is it, Mike? I believe it's about 330,000 caches worldwide, and about 250,000 cachers that are looking for the caches worldwide. So it's quite a worldwide sport, and it's growing every day.
Exactly. Yeah, the sport started in about mid-2002, I believe, and there was just a very small handful of cachers at that time, but it has grown tremendously. It's a fantastic sport for not just individuals that like to be outside, exploring, hiking, but many of the families, or geocachers rather, bring their families along. It's great to bring the kids. They absolutely love it because it's essentially just a treasure hunt.
Now, can you show us some of the caches and some of the things that might be found?
Certainly.
And just kind of explain what the rules are?
Okay, sure. Gary and I brought kind of a little sampling of what to expect. There's various sizes and so forth. Many of them will start with a regular size geocache, which is going to be some of your larger ones. They vary down to a smaller size and down to a micro size, which is essentially something like this, which is a match container, and inside you'll always find a log, which is basically consisting of either a piece of paper, a log book, or some type of a notebook in some of your larger cases, and a pencil to log that with. The larger caches will typically contain, just fodder that you see right here. Most of that is going to be interchangeable. It's suggested that if you find a cache that you actually, if you take something that you like, you can put anything in a cache, and it's amazing what you'll find in caches, but if you put something in, that you take something. Those are basically just the simple rules of geocaching, other than just to have fun.
Okay, now you had indicated to me earlier that there are different levels of complexity in locating these. Now, this is a geocache, and this one fascinates me because here's your logbook and your pencil.
Correct.
I don't know, but personally, that would take me a while to find.
Some of the cachers that have been around for a while, some of the top geocachers, at least in the state of Minnesota I know of, are probably close to about 4,000 caches. That's quite a few. This one Gary put together, and I don't know what he would rate this is, but most geocaches are going to be rated on a difficulty level of finding them based on their size, particularly on a 1 to 5. One being a very simple one to find. Generally, something like this is going to be very simple. This one might be a little bit more difficult. It's camoed. It could be placed underneath trees or fallen areas where it may be very difficult to find. When you're looking for something that is considered an urban cache, something like this is a very small cache with a magnet on the back that essentially can adhere to a junction box or anything that is out in an open area. This one might be a little bit more difficult than per se something like this. 1 is the easiest, 5 is the most difficult. Terrain is also a factor. Terrain rates from 1 to 5, 1 being a wheelchair accessible, rating up to 5 again. If the terrain is a 5, typically it's going to involve ropes, parachutes, boats, things of that, scuba gear. You laugh, I'm serious. There are a lot of caches that are hidden with the need of ropes and scuba diving.
Bloodhound?
Mm-hmm.
Bloodhound?
The bloodhound, exactly.
Okay. Now, Gary, you had shown me some of these coins that you have available here. Can you explain those to me?
Sure. Besides the normal, what we refer to it as swag, which are just tradable items, what you might find in a cache is an item called a travel bug or a geocoin. Now, a travel bug can be pretty much anything that has this little dog tag hanging on it. It has a number on it that basically is identifiable, and if you go to geocaching.com, when you find one of these and you log this number in, it basically will tell you the history as to where it's been, who owns it, and how long it's been circulating. And then it becomes your responsibility when you took it from one cache to go put it in another cache. And it becomes a game of basically just tracking the progress of the travel bug. And they come in many different varieties. This one happens to be a little stuffed cat. We have a flashlight. Chrysler Daimler Jeep has come out several years in a row with different colored Jeeps that they use as travel bugs. And those are, you can watch the progress. The other thing that you mentioned was, this is called a geocoin. And what it is this too comes in many different varieties. This one happens to be a gingerbread man, and it has a tracking number on the back also. And a lot of folks buy these, and they will put them in their favorite cache, and then it will also move from cache to cache, and it has a number where it can be recorded, and you can follow its progress around the world. I currently have one in Australia that was kind of an interesting thing to
That's pretty
watch
cool.
it get there, yeah.
Now, how long has that cache been planted if it's in Australia now?
I'm not sure how long the cache in Australia has been there, but when I had the coin and I released it is what the terminology is. I released it in Hudson here at a cache, and it moved from here, it moved to Phoenix, Arizona, to San Diego, and from San Diego it went to Queensland, Australia.
It travels better than we do.
Yes, absolutely. So those are an awful lot of fun to watch.
Okay, now, do either of you have anything else that you want to add at this point?
No, actually, other than what we've kind of reiterated on is that this is just a fun sport to get out involving the family. It's a great opportunity to explore parks that you've never seen before. I've had the opportunity to go to places that I never even knew existed within the area that I live. So it's an awful lot of fun, and it's very simple to get started.
Gary?
I guess I just would add to that it's become a sport that was a reason to go for a walk. And my wife thought it was kind of a crazy hobby to begin with, and now I kind of have to fight her for the car of who's going to go where to go geocaching. And we have several other couples, and we get together on a regular basis of couples and pick out an area and go geocaching. It's a lot of fun.
Very good. Now, what we're going to be doing in this little segment is we're also going to be going and locating a cache. And we have 2 volunteers from the Chamber of Commerce, from the Hudson Chamber of Commerce, Kim and Dan, and they're going to be our victims for the day. And we are going to show them how to do this, and we're going to track their progress as they go searching. Hello again. With me right now, I have Kim and Dan. They're going to be actually going and looking for a geocache that we have hidden. They're going to be meeting with Gary and with Mike. But in the meantime, I just need you to get some information about them. This is Kim, and she will tell you about herself and what she does.
Hello, welcome to Hudson. I'm Kim Heineman, and I'm the president of the Hudson Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau. And as you can see, we have lots to do in Hudson year-round. It's about 40 degrees now here in winter, and we'll be seeing some of the beautiful scenes here and also some of the lovely swans that are on the river right now as we look for our geocache. The Hot Air Affair obviously has been a tradition in Hudson for 18 years. It brings many tourism people to town, and we couldn't be happier to showcase our great community, and we're very happy to participate as a partner in this great event.
And I'm Dan Jarvis on the board of directors for the Hudson Chamber, and also chair the Hudson Area Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau Tourism Committee. With tourism as an essential part of the Hudson area, we have a vibrant group looking at new things and new ideas and a way to enhance our tourism that we have here in Hudson, and geocaching is one of them. Thank you.
Hi, we've just met up with Gary and Mike again, and Kim and Dan are going to be going and looking for a cache. So go ahead, guys, tell them what they're going to have to find.
Okay. Essentially what we've hidden is a regular cache, probably about the size of half a loaf of bread, half a bread box. We've got our GPSs ready, we've got our coordinates loaded within the units so they can go find the cache that we've hidden. Basically what we've done here, this geocache, this GPS rather, when you first turn it on, it takes a little while to find the satellites. There's 24 satellites at any given time circling the Earth. We have 12 above us from horizon to horizon. In areas such as this where you don't have the terrain or buildings or trees, you really get a good reading. So these guys shouldn't have a difficult time finding the cache. Right now we have 22 to 23 feet accuracy, which means where the cache is hidden, it could be 23 feet circumference around that location. Essentially, we're going to give the GPS to these guys, and we're going to let them take off from there. 10, 12, and 24 above us right now. And as those fall off, others will come up and they'll be picking up. You'll see these disappear. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you, right now you're at 27 feet accuracy. Right now I'm going to put you as a go-to. Now you can utilize, let me back this up here, the first probably about 250 caches I found, I just went strictly off the coordinates. And these change as you go northerly or westerly. They'll continue to change. To make this easy on you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a go-to to find the nearest, which is waypoints nearest, and then number 33 is what we just marked. Those are the coordinates. You're at north 44, 58.441. You see the 92, 45.623. And we'll make that a go-to, and now you have an arrow which tells you 451 feet this way. Now you want to keep this flat, because if you move this, or you do like this, let's say, okay, see it's finding it. Now you back up, it's fine. If you turn it, this thing doesn't know that it's being turned. Okay? So it's going this way again. If you keep it flat, it'll be fine. That'll give you your speed, your heading, there's your compass, and that's it right there.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to
As you follow this, when
Follow
it's
the arrow.
453 feet that direction. Now, this isn't precise because
There's an
the
error built in.
satellites continue to move, okay? So as the satellites continue to move, the arrow is going to move with those satellites. So it's not going to give you the direct area to search initially. It'll give you the general direction. So the longer you sit and the more you hold this level, the tighter it'll get you to your location. So as you walk up there, watch the 453 feet from here.
Okay.
As you get closer, that'll obviously decrease.
Okay.
As that decreases, you will get within, say, about 100 feet. That's where I like to stop and just hold it for a little bit and let the coordinates kind of mellow and determine exactly where you need to go.
Okay.
As you get closer to the cache, say 50 feet, do the same thing again, 20 feet, and watch the arrow. It'll give you an idea exactly where you're going. I'll kind of give you a little tutorial along the way,
All
but
right.
that's essentially it. It's very simple, very simple.
And a lot of times within about the last 20 or 30 feet, it'll get you that close, and then it has to be your eyeball. You have to find
Right.
it.
With your
You'll have to look.
22 feet accuracy, once you get to about 22, sometimes 5, we've got a real good area. There is no
There's not a lot of clutter over there.
exactly. We don't have any buildings or
So you should be
anything that
real
would
close.
be,
Yeah.
messing up your coordinates. You should be able to find it pretty quickly.
And the
Be
thing that
pretty
you
easy
will
to find.
notice, both of these they're not gonna say the exact same numbers. Very rarely will you find two units that are exactly right on.
They'll be close.
They're real close, but they're not identical. But they will tell you the direction to go, approximately how far you have to go, and how close to the final destination you'll get. Within 14 feet, it's saying now. And it's bouncing a little bit.
And that depends on the number of satellites above you too. The more satellites you have, the more accurate the read will be. The less you have, the more
You'll
difficult
find it.
It'll be very simple. So yeah,
Okay.
let's we'll follow
have
you
at
guys
it.
just as you go. Then
All right.
you're basically just following the arrow itself.
Setting. That away.
16 feet that way.
16 feet that way.
Okay.
Typically at that point, what you're going to want to do, because 23 feet accuracy is what you started out with, you're probably going to be about that same again. At that point, I generally set the GPS down on the ground and leave it in a place where you can find it. Just set it flat and allow the satellites to keep feeding the information. Look at your arrow and determine where 16 feet from that area is.
Now this particular one is telling you that it's 11 feet this way, and you got an accuracy of plus or minus 15. So, for all intents and purposes, you could be standing over it, or it could be about 26 feet out away from you.
Uh-huh.
And what we have is we've basically limited the area that it can be in because of we're on a dock.
Sure. So yeah. Size of a bread box, half a loaf of bread. It's one of the caches that you saw
Try
on
on
the
here.
table in
Try on
the.
here. See anything?
There's something down here.
All right. Don't fall in. The water's cold.
Hey!
Yay! Good job.
All
Now go ahead and
right.
open it up and sign the log.
$1,000.
I know. Thank you. This was a great team effort. $1,000. Let's go eat something. Okay, so inside we find our little log with a pen, all in plastic in case this would have fallen in the water.
It helps us survive the elements of rain and snow and so forth. Sure.
So it shows different dates and different locations and people who have been here. So the last one that signed this was on December 30th, 2006. So we can sign, what's today, the 26th?
Right.
And we just signed Kim and Dan.
Just some goodies.
Come to the Hudson Hot Air Affair, of course. And then we put it back in.
That's it. Well, that was great. Their first geocache of the day. So if you'd like to give geocaching a try, it's geocaching.com. Thank you.
Now, we're doing a geocaching information and getting started session with the Hot Air Affair. So anyone who's interested will be at the launch field on Saturday. And these gentlemen and some friends will be there, and they can ask questions, and they will actually take people out so that they can find caches the same way that Kim and Dan did today. So welcome to Hot Air Affair, and I hope everybody has a good time.
See you at noon.
Thank you. It was fun.
you.
It was fun.
Seven Below is almost ready. Team Campy Feet is ready to go. When we get the word from Team 7 Below, we're going to be off and running. We set? Ladies and gentlemen, on your marks, get set, go! And they're off. Oh, Campy Feet's out to an early lead. Oh, Team 7 Below catches up in a hurry and actually gets through the first set of codes. This is where the first cross goes. Let's hear it for Team Campy Feet and Team 7 Below. Woo! You can see the folks, neither team out there is the swoosh button. Okay. Team 7 Below is going for that last cup. You're going to be rounding and heading for home soon. Campy Feet is moving well for their first effort. Ladies and gentlemen, it should be noted that this person right here with the champ full ahead! Kind of a bad production. Kind of a bad production. Magazine representing the magazine and Columbia do this? All right. We're, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, I'm sorry. Does anyone know CPR? Okay. Mr. Columbia might need, you know CPR. Well, it's hard to do from the back, though, isn't it? Yeah, you look like you're doing the Heimlich on her. There you go. All right, let's hear it for Team Campy Feet. Coming in second place. Wonderful first effort.
Part of my interest developed in 1993. I started and I own and operate the Army hot air balloon, the modern Army hot air balloon. And with that, trying to get the Army to come off the dime to help support what I was doing. I tried to include a lot of the early Army light air than air history, the Civil War, early World War I, beginning of World War II. Specifically, I focused a lot on the Civil War because of the history and all that was involved. Well, Thaddeus Lowe was the commander of the Balloon Corps of the Army of the Potomac. Initially, John Wise and James Allen came in and tried to offer their wares. They inflated, at the time, you had to inflate from a gas works. in a downtown metropolitan area, and then carry the balloons to wherever the battlefield was. They tried to carry the balloons to Manassas, Virginia, and the distance between there was great. The obstacles, you didn't have 495 around the DC area or major roads going out there. The balloons ended up damaged and non-flyable when they got to the battlefield. Thaddeus Lowe came in and developed a mobile inflation system where he had a copper-lined kettle on 2 horse-drawn carriages that he would put 800 pounds of iron shavings and sulfuric acid in and make hydrogen that would give the balloons lift. I was, again, as the pilot of the modern Army balloon, I was referred to Eidelman Productions, who was filming a show for Man, Moment, and Machine called Lincoln's Flying Spy Machines, which aired on the History Channel the first time on the 21st of November, and then subsequently as it reruns. But I was asked to present or give the host, Hunter Ellis, and the viewers of the show, a view from a balloon at altitude to show what the aeronauts were able to see and observe and provide that information to the commanders of the time. Well, through the Lowe family, I met a gentleman named Michael Patras of Pasadena, California. He, in his own discovery of Lowe and through Mount Lowe, when Lowe finished the Balloon Corps, he moved out to California and built an inclined railway system up a mountain, several hotels to get people to come out of the city into the countryside at that time. But he brought Thaddeus Lowe's original telescopes that he used during the Civil War, a cannonball that ended up in the basket, in Lowe's basket, and several rounds, rifle rounds that Lowe, one of which Lowe carried around in his pocket every day until he died.
A little bit about that
I did.
experience.
My first gas balloon flight was with Andy Caton, a retired former Special Operations helicopter pilot. We paired as Team Army in the venue of the early gas balloon races through Gordon Bennett. The Army and Navy bounced between first place and second place frequently. We launched from Albuquerque, New Mexico with 13 balloons, and we flew 1,478 miles in 60 hours and 45 minutes, landed in Citra, Florida, between Ocala and Gainesville, and won the event. A gas balloon is a contained helium or hydrogen cell, similar to a Mylar balloon that you'd find in a grocery store, and that's what gives lift. We carry, and then you'll see sandbags on the outside of a gas balloon basket where you won't see in a hot air balloon basket. We control our altitude in the gas balloon basket by the amount of lift that we have and the amount of ballast that we release. If I want to go higher in a gas balloon, I release ballast. If I want to go higher in a hot air balloon, I add heat. In a gas balloon, I can fly for 3, 4 days, 5 days at a time, and through the night. In the hot air balloon, we fly for an hour, hour and a half. The Army and the Air Force and the United States government is using balloons tethered, or more so tethered aerostats with long-range forward-looking radar for border patrol, drug interdiction, and security. You can put a tethered balloon up and it could see probably 3,000–4,000 miles ahead. So you know if anybody's flying low over the area or coming across the border. Well, in the Army, I was a Green Beret for 15 years and was reassigned to the St. Louis area to be the operations officer for the St. Louis Recruiting Battalion to manage recruiting for the Army Reserve for Illinois and Missouri. The day after I moved into town, I was out running. I met a balloon pilot and he said, "Here, hold this." And I've been doing it ever since. Well, the Hot Air Affair is unique in that it's one of the few winter events where you can challenge your skills in winter flying, come out in the snow and the cold. Most pilots pack up their equipment during the winter and don't bring it out until the late spring, and they stay inside or do other things. But for me, as a professional balloon pilot, since I retired from the Army 3 years ago, this is my day job. And I travel the country and Canada flying hot air balloons promoting Mayflower Moving Company.
That's our Civil Air Patrol Force, folks. Give them a hand, come on. They'll be with us all weekend long, too, helping out, keeping us safe.
And every year they come up with a theme, and this year is License to Chill. And we have Mr. Bond himself, Mr. Ron Campbell, from the Freedom Value Centers. He's always a character in one of the costumes every year, and we have our Blue Meister and one of the Miss Hudson princesses in the basket. INC Balloon Agency.
We vote for the new Mustang.
Light them up.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
And it looks like guys and gals from the Freedom Value Centers are passing out some trinkets here.
There you go, you're keeping all warm, folks. Put a chocolate out there.
And some of our committee members. Mary Martin, Linda Martin. Okay, Marshall. Hey, it's our Sanctuary MS. They're going to be helping us out this weekend. They'll be providing protection up at the launch field, which is at EP Rock School. These guys are volunteers and some paid on call. So we appreciate their assistance. And right behind them is Hudson Fire Department. Hudson Fire Department is a volunteer service, providing service throughout West Central.
Keep a clean machine there, folks.
And we have the Hudson Lions also riding in the basket. They're going to be providing a breakfast tomorrow, I believe. Sunday at Valley House up on Highway 35. We'd like to thank all our local balloon sponsors and all the local businesses for staying open, and I'd like to thank Winstoop for providing power. Pet, please don't bring it to EP Rock School. Bring it to Angel's Pet World at Plaza 94. There's a pet contest. And also we have some judges that will take a bribe. They look shady up there.
Here we have the Wind Dancer from Waukesha, Wisconsin. They do ballooning promotions and inflatable marketing adventures. Zappa Brothers! All right, there you go. That's a name we know. Immediately following the parade will be a fireworks display by Anderson Corporation. I hope Sarah Anderson's here because that's one of her favorite things to see fireworks.
And we have the women from Milwaukee.
They made it again!
It's the 14th year, and these are the only women from Milwaukee that count. You're shaken and not stirred. You're from Anderson. Window. Super.
All right, I work for Anderson. Great company. Your name, so it's S-O-N, not S-E-N. All right. Do you understand that language here, too?
Ah, sure. Okay, sponsored by Dick's Bar and Grill, we have Funtastics. Funtastics. Providing a little heat and warmth to us.
Very much. We appreciate that. And Maurice's. Another local business. There we go, girls. Give a cheer. We're so thankful for all of the contributions from our local businesses. And here we have the Foot Center for the Performing Arts. You bet. It's snowing out. That's the theme here.
Some of the activities going on tomorrow is Marketplace at EP Rock School. The craft fair will be going on from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock, bring your pets over to the plaza for Pets in the Park. At the plaza.
Again, don't forget, 7:30 tomorrow morning will be our first liftoff, weather permitting.
And something new tomorrow is the Geocaching 101. Come and learn how to geocache with your GPS. And tomorrow at noon to 2 o'clock, the Winter Olympiad. It's a fundraiser at EP Rec School, turkey bowling.
This is Mayflower Transit coming by now, Metcalf Moving and Storage.
Hey, one of our great sponsors this year.
Cindy up there? All right, another one. Here we are.
And tomorrow at
Light
noon.
them up for us. Thank you.
Garfield, the fat cat that loves spaghetti. Viking Electronics have that as a sponsor of this one. Garfield. Hey, tomorrow, if you got 4 friends or 4 enemies, you want to strap some 2x4s to your feet, come on up to the swishboarding competition. It's a lot of fun. You'll find out how coordinated the guys are, actually.
Eagle Valley Bank coming up here.
Propane Addiction, Steve Lacrosse. Sponsored by United or Eagle Valley Bank.
It's the Nebraska Balloon Club that is there today up on top. Next, Camp St. Croix. It's our favorite place. Food meets the heaven in our community.
Hey, tomorrow morning at 7:30. Don't forget EP Rock School. Balloon launch is scheduled.
Hey, row your boat. There we go.
Is that sort of like that joke I was telling you earlier?
I think you got it. I think that's it.
Can't water ski on a...
But at least you got a lifeguard now. That'll keep you safe. Could be a deer hunter. You never know. We got enough deer in the city.
I'm from another county. Hey, some of that... Oh. NDP Rec School. Balloon launch, 7:30 in the morning. At noon, Winter Olympiad. Geocaching.
Here we go.
Hey, U.S. Bank brings us this next balloon. Skycam.
You've got their website on there, folks, skycabballoons.com. USbank.com also. Amen.
At 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock tomorrow, crafts for the kids. At At 1:30, let's dance at EP Rock School. 2 o'clock outside. Perfect weather for this ice party. Gentlemen from ice occasions from Ellsworth will be partying some ice penguins. At 2:30, puppeteers from Mount Zion will be coming. We have the press enter.
Here we go, Press Enter girls. We also want to thank Press Enter for our website.
Patsy Blastoff and Elma.
License to chill. April Aerostar. The Chillers.
The Chillers. At 3 o'clock, Bloom Launch. 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, the Freedom Value Center brings in 007, License to Chill. Freedom Value Center Kent. Activities for the kids. Dance for everybody and goodies for all. 6:30 tomorrow night.
The Chillers was another.
Steve Johnson.
Yeah, for you there.
Mom, don't ever get me. I'm the chiller. It's the end of the world as you know it. Oh, curse you, Mom.
Yellow Brick Road. Yellow Brick Road. And they are sponsored by Best Western Hudson House Inn. Tomorrow evening, 6:30, EP Rock School. Weather permitting, we hope we can have a moon glow, but if we don't, we will have a field of fire. And you will see exactly what they're doing now, except in a stationary position. Warming up the launch field.
That will have the preschool. For children girls and youth.
All sorts of local businesses having dances, karaoke, fun.
Dancing, chili cook-offs. They got free hot chocolate for the kids over there by Dibbo's.
And we have Just Ducky, the Maroons from Ellsworth. Baldwin Telecom is their sponsor. Just Ducky. That's what you say every time you see John, right? Just Ducky.
First National Bank.
I would give anything to be in that costume. Once again, I'd like to thank the Civil Air Patrol for providing protection tonight and over the weekend. Please listen to them if you're coming up to the launch field. They are our official directors. Eric Anderson, Eric the Red. And they are sponsored by Wells Fargo Bank. Rubber Ducky. Follow Value, sponsored by Freedom Value Center. Store, one of our new sponsors this year.
And that's Western.
They're just towing this guy someplace. Wisconsin Credit Union, Mr. Roll. M&I Bank Princess is next room, and they are name of the building. Burgess, the Penguin.
Is that true they really wear tuxedos?
I'm not gonna go there on weekend. So do they?
I don't know. That's fair to see that way.
So we're gonna want to go there. Sponsors on that. Hudson Desert Neighborhood Alliance. Air Forge 2.
The beautiful colors you'll see when these balloons are up, folks. And I'll tell you, just beyond belief. So let's all look forward to it.
So is he going to be the model for the ice sculpting tomorrow? You're going to be out there. Good. Stay warm.
Solar Flare is coming up here. That was mine.
Once again, we don't get a chance to thank all our sponsors, but the community really pulls together to help put this event on. So look at the brochures and thank the sponsors that are in there. Patronize them.
My favorite Pioneer Press. On my doorstep every morning.
Who works for them again?
Get that plug in there.
She told me it was going to be obvious. I didn't realize it was that bad. Gotta look at the first one load out of the vehicle. It's heavy. I know the first one's come out. Now you can read your paper for life.
Works.
Remax Team One Realty is sponsored by Remax. Jim Henry and Friends.
Honor Remax just bought that $5.5 million Shelby Cobra at Bear Jackson.
Henry's in Florida.
Look, you know it.
It's freezing down there though too, isn't it?
You want my headband?
Yeah, you can bribe the judges. Judges won't take bribes.
He just got points.
Where's your bucket?
Oh yes, he's got a Wow. Thank you. Sweet.
You missed the big handful of Tootsie Rolls.
I don't
Curves.
want him to think that I'm standing
Birdies are blown, and it is sponsored by Curves.
That's going to be a fantastic balloon. It has curves. Doing great.
Once again, tomorrow morning, 7:30, balloon launch. Immediately following the parade is the Anderson Windows Fireworks Spectacular, Lakefront Park,